Hey there, stargazers. Have you ever wondered what happens when you combine Scorpio's smoldering intensity with Capricorn's unwavering focus?
Especially in a love match.
Especially in a love match.
Mm.
We're diving deep into the astrology of this power couple. And let me tell you, it is a wild ride. We're talking magnetic attraction,
Uh-huh.
a slow burn of emotions,
Yeah.
and yeah, maybe even some shared dark humor along the way.
What I find so interesting about this pairing is how their planetary rulers interact. So you've got Capricorn. Capricorn exalts Mars, meaning that Mars is particularly powerful in this sign.
Okay.
And who rules Mars? That's right, it's Scorpio. This creates an immediate, almost primal, physical and sexual connection between them.
All right, so right off the bat, we're talking fireworks. But we know Scorpio is all about that passionate intensity. How does Capricorn's grounded, practical earth sign energy play into this?
That is where things get really interesting. While the physical attraction is off the charts, both signs tend to be emotionally reserved. Astrologically speaking, they are the fall and detriment of the moon, which governs our emotional world. This means they might struggle to express their feelings and could default to a purely physical connection. Imagine a smoldering fire with a very, very thick pane of glass in front of it.
So all heat, but maybe lacking that heartfelt tenderness.
Mm.
That makes me think about a point from the analysis. Both signs are actually drawn to their opposites, Taurus and Cancer, who are all about emotional depth. It's like there's this hidden longing for vulnerability beneath the surface.
Precisely. And this is where the potential for conflict arises. If those emotional needs aren't met, that initial spark can fizzle out. Long term, it's unsustainable to rely solely on physical connection. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand.
It makes you wonder, how long can they ignore those deeper needs before it starts to crack the foundation of the relationship? But let's shift gears to another crucial aspect of any partnership.
Absolutely. This is an area where Scorpio and Capricorn naturally excel. Now, this might sound counterintuitive because Capricorns aren't known for being the most emotionally expressive. However, there's something about Scorpio's intensity and ability to see through facades that compels Capricorn to be more truthful and upfront than they might be with other signs.
So it's like Scorpio's stare can make even the most stoic Capricorn spill their secrets.
Exactly.
Like, I can tell you're hiding something, so you might as well come clean.
However, we have to remember those suppressed emotions we talked about earlier. Even with that initial honesty, a lack of vulnerability and emotional openness can chip away at the foundation of trust over time. It's like building a beautiful bridge, but forgetting to reinforce the supports. It might look sturdy on the surface, but it's not built to last.
It makes total sense that those unexpressed feelings can rear their heads in unexpected ways. And speaking of things that might not always flow smoothly, what about communication between these two? We've got Scorpio, the fixed water sign, known for their intensity, and Capricorn, the cardinal earth sign, known for their practicality. Do those styles clash or complement each other?
It can be a bit of a mixed bag, honestly. Scorpio's fixed nature means they're deeply committed to their opinions and are not afraid to express them. Capricorn, on the other hand, is all about logic, a measured approach, and taking their time to analyze a situation. If they disagree, it could lead to a standoff. Years of silent treatment, even.
Years. Wow, that's a testament to both their stubborn streaks. But on the flip side, if they can learn to navigate those differences, could that lead to a really profound understanding?
Absolutely. Capricorn's patient nature can actually help Scorpio open up more over time. Imagine them finally having that difficult conversation, not in the heat of the moment, but after a slow, simmering period where they've both had time to process. That's where the magic happens.
So those silent treatments, as frustrating as they might seem in the moment, could actually be a pathway to deeper connection. It's like they're both taking the time to build their arguments brick by metaphorical brick until they're finally ready to reveal their masterpieces.
Exactly. It's not the easiest path to intimacy, but it can be incredibly rewarding when they finally break through those walls. And this brings us to another fascinating aspect of their compatibility: their emotional landscape. Both signs face unique challenges in this realm, which surprisingly can become a source of connection.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of emotional hurdles are we talking about, and how do they end up bringing Scorpio and Capricorn closer?
Well, Scorpio is known as the sign of Venus's detriment. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, doesn't feel quite at home in Scorpio's intense, shadowy realm. This can manifest as a struggle with self-worth, a fear of vulnerability, and difficulty expressing affection openly.
Okay.
Capricorn, on the other hand, carries a heavy dose of Saturnian energy. Saturn, the planet of discipline and responsibility, can create a sense of guilt and emotional guardedness.
So it's like they both have these emotional shields, forged from different materials but serving a similar purpose: protection.
Precisely. But here's where it gets interesting. This shared struggle with emotional expression, rather than being a point of disconnect, can actually become a source of deep understanding. They get each other's emotional complexities in a way that other signs might not. It's like looking in a mirror and recognizing a kindred spirit behind those guarded eyes.
It's like they're both fluent in the language of unspoken emotions. But speaking of unspoken things, we can't talk about compatibility without considering those day-to-day shared activities. What do Scorpio and Capricorn enjoy doing together when they're not dissecting their emotional depths?
Remember how both signs are ambitious and focused on building a stable future. That shared drive translates into their activities as well. Think less about spontaneous adventures and more about shared goals, strategic planning, and maybe even a little bit of healthy competition to keep things interesting.
So more like building an empire together. Brick by meticulously chosen brick.
Exactly. They find a deep sense of satisfaction in working towards a common goal. Imagine them conquering the world of finance together, their shared determination fueling their every move. However, there's one surprising activity that the analysis highlights: shared therapy.
Wait, really? Couples therapy for these two seemingly self-sufficient signs.
It might seem counterintuitive, but it makes perfect sense when you think about it. Both Scorpio and Capricorn are drawn to unraveling mysteries, whether within themselves or the world around them. Therapy provides a structured and safe space to delve into their subconscious, uncover hidden patterns, and ultimately understand themselves and each other on a deeper level.
It's like they're both drawn to the depths, both figuratively and literally. And you mentioned earlier something about dark humor. Tell me more about how that plays out in their relationship.
Right, it's this unexpected but incredibly potent point of connection. Both signs have a dry, sarcastic wit and a somewhat cynical view of the world. They can find humor in the most unexpected places, often bonding over things that others might find a tad morbid or taboo.
So we're not talking about your average knock-knock jokes here. Give me an example. What kind of humor would make these two crack a smile?
Imagine them watching a documentary about extinct species, and instead of feeling sad, they're cracking jokes about the absurdity of it all, the evolutionary mishaps, the unfortunate circumstances that led to their demise. It's that kind of dark, slightly twisted humor that only they seem to understand.
It's like they've found their own private comedy club where the punchlines involve existential dread and the fleeting nature of existence.
Exactly. It's their way of finding lightness in a world that can often feel heavy and intense.
And that shared sense of humor, that ability to laugh in the face of the abyss, that can be a real lifesaver in a relationship, especially one as complex as this. So we've got a fascinating mix here: intense attraction, potential emotional roadblocks, shared values, and a dash of dark humor. Did I miss anything?
I think you've painted a pretty comprehensive picture. It sounds like Scorpio and Capricorn have all the ingredients for a relationship that's both incredibly rewarding and incredibly challenging. They can push each other to grow, to explore those emotional depths, and to build a life together that's as resilient as it is fulfilling.
And you know, there's always a but when we're talking about these two. That success isn't a guarantee, is it?
You hit the nail on the head. This isn't a fairy tale romance. It's about making a conscious choice every single day to show up, to be vulnerable, and to communicate their needs and desires. The potential is there, but it requires consistent effort.
So it's not enough to simply be drawn to each other's intensity. They have to be willing to meet that intensity with an equal measure of emotional honesty and commitment to growth.
Exactly. It's like they're standing at the edge of a vast, uncharted ocean. They can either choose to dip their toes in the shallows, never fully experiencing the depths of what their connection could be, or they can take the plunge, diving deep into the unknown together.
Wow, that's a powerful image. It feels like the choice between simply existing in the relationship and truly thriving within it.
That's a great way to put it. This pairing has the potential to be incredibly healing or incredibly stagnant. The deciding factor is whether they're willing to confront those emotional depths together, to be each other's anchors in the storm.
This has been such an eye-opening exploration into the complex and often contradictory world of Scorpio and Capricorn compatibility. It's amazing how astrology can reveal these hidden dynamics, these push and pull forces that shape our relationships.
Absolutely. It reminds us that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to love and compatibility. It's about understanding the unique dance between two individuals, two sets of strengths and vulnerabilities, and ultimately two souls choosing to walk a path together.
Beautifully said. For our listeners, whether you're Scorpio, a Capricorn, or simply fascinated by the cosmic dance of relationships, I hope that this deep dive has given you some food for thought. Maybe you've recognized some of these themes in your own life, or maybe it sparked a curiosity to explore the astrological dynamics at play in your own relationships. Whatever your takeaway, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those cosmic conversations going. Until next time, happy stargazing.